Skull, no, no, make it sound as scathing as possible, please. No, I do. It's what I hear. It's what I'm able to hear the most. You know, if it evokes something in me, then I can look at it, you know, and figure into it. You know, if it's just like nice and gentle, then perhaps I'll just tap it. I appreciate the way that was presented. I think that's exactly what Artie was trying to get at too when he said that originally. Is that so, Artie?
Which part of it?
When you had mentioned that just because you feel powerless doesn't mean that you are.
I mean,
Sorry, Michael. I was didn't want
and
to.
what part of what Michael's saying are you equating that to?
Um, what he's talking about now. I guess I misunderstood what you were saying, right? Because you were saying that, well, what I just repeated, and
I mean, yeah,
my
it's like
my initial.
the phrasing of what I said and what Michael said isn't very one to one at all.
No, I
But
guess I misunderstood by hearing. That doesn't mean there's nothing you can do for her, rather than hearing. That doesn't mean there's nothing you can do for yourself.
I mean, there's. Yeah, I would probably agree. Um, it's like, uh, yeah, like, and I guess I just kind of kept it pretty vague because doing something for yourself could be, well, there's like a lot of different angles that you can do something for yourself in this situation. It could be what Michael's saying of like maybe like saying something to your mom that will make you feel more like if you say like if there's something that you're hesitating to say to her for whatever reason, no matter how minute it might seem now, if it is part of the truth and you're concealing it, then like perhaps once you say it, regardless of how she responds to it, it's just going to be like, okay, I've done what I can and that's it. Like it is what it is, right? And that'll kind of give you a little bit of peace, maybe. Um, could be something like that. It could just be as simple as you. And this is kind of the part that what I meant when I said that there's maybe not necessarily something deeper to it, or that there's maybe answers that aren't so deep. It's like part of this could just be that you've reached your upper limit of being able to tolerate the anger and stuff like that. And then that's connected to so many other things, which is like, of course, it's a very. What? Oh, I mean, yeah, yeah. I think I summed up what I said pretty.
And
Or, I mean,
I think you're absolutely right about reaching the upper limit of tolerance. And I think in the process of reaching that threshold, I perhaps misdirected my emotions and misplaced the solutions.
work on that. You could work on the threshold, baby. That could be something.
Yeah.
Which is one of those things that's not, I think, is not very deep, or like it doesn't have to be. There's like simple. But yeah, Michael, go ahead.
Oh, did you guys snack yesterday? Sorry. Did you guys snack yesterday?
2 days ago.
I remember. No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yes, and in that as well too, right? And even like you the way you said that, the way you said like the only way like things change, like the only way you'll see an actual change is when it's done conducted in the nature of the internal perspective, and even beyond that too is the idea that that conduct requires you to detach the idea that it is to achieve an outcome in the first place. Um, that it has to be right. Right. It's very easy to use that as a catalyst, and muddle the intent. In fact, it's precisely the reason that I probably not probably it's precisely the reason that I've ended up in this emotional mire that I am now confronted with. Um, no, I liked what you have more to say. I know, but I just right. I liked what both of you said earlier about sharing what's on my mind, regardless of whether she receives it or not. I know this is something I've said before, and I remember the day I said it too about like living with the peace that you do everything you could possibly do. Um, because ultimately, not only would I be uh, 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 absolutely inundated with regret for selling my potential short in a scenario that matters so greatly to me, but also conversely, facing a potentially wonderful outcome by approaching that. And it doesn't really matter if the outcome comes or not, if you do everything you can, because you can die with that, or she can die with that, and you can sit there and look at that and live with that comfortably. Um, carry on. Oh, believe me, I know. That's what I learned in my sexual encounters, actually. Or even the opportunity is presented and I will be in it but unable to follow through with it, particularly for the reason that I really, really wanted it. Um, even more so. Yeah, the old fucker's trick. I know what you're saying. No, I know what you're saying. I do. Yep. No, you're right. This exact course of dialogue is something I actually wanted to mention much prior to like this whole like smoking weed thing that happened this evening. I was going to bring up in snacks at some point too. Is that exact realization? So you're right. You're right. I'm not holding up my end of the bargain. Um, the most potent examples of change that I was able to witness was during times that I was holding up my end of the bargain and truly, truly living for myself with the foreknowledge, of course, that, outcomes come out that way, but not with the intention. Um, I was psyched 2020. That was my big year. I was fucking bussing, bro. Um, and what I was going to mention during when I had that realization earlier was that was exactly that when you guys were talking about the external versus the internal as far as intention is concerned. I was listening to that whole conversation even though I wasn't saying anything. I was really soaking it in more than anything. Because you guys were also doing an argument about parents at first, and I really just didn't really care about it. Um, but then you guys were talking about other stuff, and yeah, I was listening. Um, was just that, and this applies to myself. This applies to everyone. Um, is that I have been consistently attempting, and I said it earlier in this conversation, like I've been misplacing um, my desires for outcomes and misplacing my emotions, and I realized how much frustration I was expressing at my mom. Because Michael, you've heard me recently express a fair amount of frustration towards my mother. Um, yes, excuse me, expressing towards you. Yes. Um, 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 and I came to this realization. I think it this morning? I think it was this morning, or it was yesterday. One of those days. Uh, was that exact thing? How much I've been misplacing frustration towards my mother without actually giving myself the honest share of what I was feeling, and truly how deeply those feelings were directed towards myself. Because like the frustration towards my mother was expressing itself as powerlessness towards myself, um, and so I managed to mix up those two sentiments. Um, and yeah, and I realized truly how much of that frustration was actually expressed to myself towards myself that I was running away from. So yes, I agree with you. I'm not holding up my end of the bargain. And perhaps the idea was too painful to recognize, but it's empowering to recognize because it opens doors. And no, it's a good word. It's a good word. No, it's in fact that's kind of like a mark of a truly conscious individual versus the 99% of those who are not is the one who doesn't feel victim. You know, it's a yeah, they're rather insidious. I will say. No, in a funny way, like that exact like phrasing is like this kind of like the same sentiment that like I feel towards my siblings, which is like, oh, your mom's dying and you don't even seem to care. Um, and I was, I mused to myself, why do why does their ability to address themselves and focus on themselves not have an impact on this scenario? Um, and my answer came twofold. The first one being that, well, they're not really addressing themselves, they're just making money and having fun anyway. And the second one was that even if they were addressing themselves to their fullest extent, it doesn't matter because what we're talking about here is their story and this is my story, you know? And the change in my world and my worldview and things that happen around me will only happen through me. So it doesn't matter if like if my siblings are doing all the most or whatever. Anyway, as far as I'm concerned, they don't fucking exist. You know. Um, Now when I see that, I think I've come to like a very new form of my nuanced understanding of NPC theory. Um, so like when I say they don't exist, doesn't really mean they don't exist. I still accept that everyone has their own soul, whatnot. But it doesn't make a difference is the point. It doesn't make a difference whether or not that other person is real. And I think that's the real core of NPC theory. Um, Right, because it's just, and I'm not saying, oh, I'm not saying it doesn't matter. That's actually not what I'm saying at all. It's quite the opposite of that. Is that it literally doesn't make an impact because to compare, because to examine the experience of another requires a comparison between yourself and the other, which is a literal comparison, an allegorical comparison between the interior and the exterior, right? Between something that is within and something that is outside of you, you know? Um, so to compare myself, being like, well, they act this way and they get a result that's, for example, like a spiritualist, like a hyper spiritualist who goes out there and they do all this shit and blah blah blah. But they just like you look at them and they seem to live a rather standard lifestyle, you know. So it's like, well, how does their spirituality help them? Well, the answer is, well, they don't fucking exist. You're comparing your own spiritual transmutation to a fucking just a fucking like something outside of you, and it's like those things don't make a difference because it's not your story. This is your story, and um, your experiences are the only ones that have any significance towards anything. And in that regard, massaging this fucking mom problem all the time, which is so easy to do, especially when it's like the only thing I really fucking experience day in and day out for weeks and months and ends and years at a time, uh, is an external experience. And god damn it, I was thinking, for example, one thing in this conversation, I think the most powerful thing I really can do for myself right now is quit nicotine. And the reason for that is because it's the only thing I can do that I know for myself will make a difference that I'm not able to share with anyone else. I can share with you guys, sure, and be like, um, like, hey, I'm doing nicotine, blah blah blah. But it's like for my family, right? We haven't really talked about nicotine in a while. My mom knows I've been smoking nicotine because I'll do it right in front of her goddamn face. Um, but like if I stop doing it, like I don't think she'll notice that and probably still think I'm smoking nicotine. You know what I mean? And I won't bring it up. And I think that's very powerful for me because um, it's completely detached from any ability that I have to show to utilize that catalyst of having a certain outcome. You know what I mean? Um, exactly, right? Like if I quit smoking, like ideally, right? Like or not ideally, but in like the monkey scenario, it'd be like if I quit smoking nicotine, they'll see that. Then there's gonna be like this big thing. It's like, oh, this kid James not smoking nicotine. What a powerful experience. What a great thing. Now I'm gonna be better for myself. And then boom, change happens. Mom's healed. Blah blah blah. But it's like for this, it's like no, there's none of that. There's none of that. This is solely for myself, and they will not see any of it. So that's why it is the best thing I can do right now. So I will be. Um, I was gonna start today, but then I was really stressed, so I didn't. But I'm always stressed, so I can't use that as an excuse anymore. Yeah, I do think it's the way to do it, Michael. um, yes. I'll No, no, dude, it's entirely related. I'm done. I'm done with my feelings anyway, so we don't have to keep on that train anymore. However, Yeah, man, I remember you talking about a lot of crypto shit. I remember that. And I noticed that. And I noticed that, like, oh, that kid Michael's talking about a lot of crypto shit. And you said, like, oh, there'll be times the spiritual things, like, stuff, like, it's just not, like, it's a part of me. It's just not what I'm focusing on, like, directly right now, and that's a valid thing to look at it, like, you had a cognizance of it, but, like, yeah, you were, like, your dynamic of conversation was distinctly different. Um, right, or like put truth on trial. Yep. Mhm. Yeah, yeah. It's a weird thing to say. No, deserve is a tough word. That deserves like further inquiry. Uh, you said I don't deserve to go through these things. Because I'm experiencing it. Clearly, I deserve it. Yeah. Yeah. Merit. Merit was not a good word used to use here, but it's a good word to use in the previous context when you used it. Deserve is more. Yeah. Have the right to say. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's the exact reason why I enjoy talking to you guys too. It's like laying seed upon fertile ground. You know, it's not trying to fucking till the soil in some extreme environment. Um, yeah. Artie, are you muted? Not trying to talk to us? I saw him saying words. That's true. See no evil, hear no evil. I love that profile picture. Uh, what's up? Yeah, that wasn't me. I don't, I don't get snowstorms, nigga. My internet was out for a while though. No, I finished. I finished. This was actually the exact moment where I wanted to get Artie's input on things. So Artie's not here. Hmm. Very good. I remember. I remember. How are you recording? OBS. I will. We should just do that more often. Um. No, I mean it's okay anyway because we addressed that portion of. Oh,
Bro, my
perfect.
phone is not charging and I'm super upset right now.
That is upsetting. Shut the fuck up.
Bro, why? I don't get
I
it.
think. I think. That, bro, now we're getting to the brass tacks, bro. Now we're getting to fucking brass tacks, bro.
Bro, I'm so mad right now. My phone's about to like not about to not have a phone.
Don't you have a car? Why not just go drive to like electronic service store in the morning and be on your
I
computer
have
for a bit?
I'm trying like three different. I mean,
Wonder if it'll work.
But yeah, what you had just said there was some real fucking brass tacks, bro. And I'm gonna start fucking like approaching every single moment of my life with that in regard. It's
Yeah,
like,
man.
oh, well, why is this unfortunate thing happening to me? Why did I just stub my toe? Well, maybe because I fucking stay on my goddamn computer too long. It's like the mom thing, you know? I saw a meme like that, like a long time ago. It was like it's just like a kid. He's like, "Damn, I ripped my shirt," and the mom's like, "It's because you're always on your goddamn computer." And the kid's like, you know, and it's funny because like the joke is like, oh, the mom's being